So I remember the day he first, had pain in his leg and his tibia. It was March 19th of
Uh,
2023. Do you remember that day?
yeah,
Yeah.
so they
So
were.
he was playing soccer, indoor soccer with his brother and some friends,
Yeah.
um, at a place in Cincinnati, and, it was the second half of the game, and I remember he was limping, and he took himself out of the game, which Max never does, like,
Uh,
boys love soccer. I remember he took himself out of the game, and, Josh and I were sitting in the stands, and I looked at Josh, I said, "Is he injured?" And the both the boys played club soccer, and club was just starting, and so I was like, "Oh my gosh, he can't be injured, like, they have a tournament coming up," and so,
hmm,
he took himself out of the game and kinda kept taking himself in and out of the game the second half, and, after the game, I was like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, my leg kinda hurts." So we're just like, "Okay, let's do some ice and ibuprofen." I thought maybe he got, like, hit kicked really hard. And, they had, outdoor practice that week um, for their club team, and they went to that practice that week.
mhm.
And then the next Saturday, which, the next Sunday, they went to their,
Then
they
another indoor
they had
game.
another indoor game,
Mm.
and he took himself out in the first half, I remember,
Wow.
and he was limping, and I don't even know if he went back in or he kept subbing in and out, and so then we did the same thing. We did ice and ibuprofen, and we massaged, we did some massage,
Thought he
and
had shin splints or something,
yeah.
right? It was.
Yeah,
Yeah, he kept pointing to a certain spot on his leg.
yeah,
Mm.
and so I don't remember if they had a, outdoor club practice that night, but I remember the next Tuesday, um, he,
He's like, "I don't wanna go to
he's
practice."
like, "I don't wanna go to practice." He's like, "I can't go to outdoor practice," and so this is odd for Max, and I remember the Friday before, in between the 2 Sunday games, we had celebrated his birthday at an indoor Nerf arena, and I'm like, "Maybe he just overdid it, like, maybe he does have shin splints."
Mm.
Running around with his friends was too much with all the soccer that he's doing, and so I remember Josh was like, "Well, if you can't go to outdoor practice, then, we need to go see the doctor."
I told him, I said, "Mac," big dad moment, right? I told him, "Max, if you can't go to practice, we're gonna take you to the doctor."
Mm,
Just to see where he was in it.
yeah.
And he was like, "Okay." It's like,
Whoa.
"Oh,
Yeah.
dang,
Mm,
here it comes. Like,
mm.
what's going on?" So, then he's really injured. It's
Yeah.
not some shin splints. It's not something that ibuprofen or ice is gonna take care of. Like, let's get him to the doctor.
Yeah, because they have I mean, our boys, love soccer, like, they were on several indoor teams, they were playing on club. So, I remember I'm like, "Okay, so what do I do? Like, do I just call the pediatrician in the morning?" We have a really good friend who's a sports medicine doctor, and Max, had actually fractured his, growth plate in his ankle on his right leg the spring before.
Oh.
So, our friend
Real quick, which one has the amputation or the
Left.
rotation plastic? It's
left,
left.
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm like, "You know what? Let me just call him and see if he had, Josh had taken him to our friend, the spring before and, had, taken, our friend had taken care of Max and, given him some exercises to do, to get him back on track. I'm like, Let me just call our friend to see if he could, see Max this week just to see him instead of taking him to the pediatrician." So I called our friend that night and I called him and I said, "Hey, I think Max hurt himself again playing soccer." I said, "Is there any way that you, could see him sometime this week?" And our friend's like, "Yeah, no problem. We have lunch tomorrow from 12 to 1. Bring him in, around 1 and I'll fit you guys in." I said, "Okay, perfect. That's great." Pick Max up from school, take him in. They do an X-ray. Um, and when they did the X-ray, actually the person reading the X-ray said that it was, a clean X-ray. The X-ray, they didn't see anything on the X-ray.
Oh, okay.
So the doctor's like, clinically, he's like, I'm poking on his leg and he's responding. There's something there.
Yeah.
The radiograph looks clear, but clinically there's something there. He's like, it could be, like a stress fracture or something that's just not presenting on x-ray yet. He's like, let's get him on some crutches, get him some rest, and have him come back and get some
Mhm.
more imaging.
Mm.
And so that's what we did. We went home with crutches.
We
He
got
was
him a wheelchair for school so he wouldn't be tempted to, like, run around at recess,
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
because he had pain but just enough pain that he could feel it, but not enough pain that, he didn't want to walk on his leg.
Mhm.
So they had spring break. We had a wheelchair for spring break. Went to Indianapolis, went to the kids museum, pushed him around in a wheelchair. Right, just hey, let's stay off of it. Let's really take this serious.
Let it heal if it's, a sprain or I don't know,
Yeah.
something.
If
Yeah.
it is a stress fracture, right, it's non-weight bearing. Let's get you ready for the spring soccer season. That was the mentality
Yeah.
was let's let's get ready for your sporting activity.
Yeah.
So we go back. He goes back 2 weeks later. Doctor says,
Wait, real
yeah,
quick, does cancer it sounds like the X-ray obviously didn't pick up the cancer.
yeah,
Does it normally, or is it
yeah.
like
That's the primary. Um, that's the primary tool used to find it
it is?
is
Okay.
X-ray.
Yeah.
So
So it's kinda surprising that the X-ray didn't pick it up then.
he goes back in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Doctor says, "Yep, let's get another X-ray." So I take him like Monday morning at like 8 a.m. Like, let's go. School started at like 9. Let's get an X-ray before school starts, and we'll get you to school on time.
Yeah.
Goes and gets an X-ray. I drop him off at school. By the time I get home, right, the hospital's 5 miles away. The school's 1 mile from our house. So I get him to school by 9. I'm home by 9:05. Get
Mhm.
a call from the doctor, and he's like, "Yeah, so there's a problem." It's like,
Oh,
"Oh," just from the X-ray. So the primary tool used to find this is X-ray,
yeah.
and just in 2 weeks, the two radiographs were that different that
Wow.
it showed up.
Okay.
So the doctor's like, it's not a stress fracture. It's either a bone infection or something else."
Mm.
And he's like, "Cincinnati Children's is going to be calling you to schedule an MRI." I'm like, "What are you
Mm.
talking about?" He's like, "Josh, this is serious.
Oh.
Like, they're going to call you." So I hang up the phone with the doctor, and uh, Doc's like, "Go pick Max up." He's like, "Where's Max right now?" Like, he's at school. Go pick him
Mm.
up. Talk to Cincinnati Children's. So I go pick him up, and sure as can be, I pick Max up. I'm pulling out of the school. Cincinnati Children calls.
Mm.
They're like, uh, "Hi, we need to schedule an MRI. When can you be here?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "We've cleared the schedule. There's a machine open. When can you be here?" I'm like, "What are you
Whoa.
talking about?" They're like, "As soon as you get here, we can get you an MRI." So
Wow.
basically, I drove from school to Cincinnati Children's. They get him in. They do the MRI, and another set of X-rays were ordered. Right, so the X-rays in the morning were, one viewpoint. They wanted X-rays, another viewpoint. So head downstairs to get the other X-rays. As soon as we walk out of that, the MRI takes a long time, 3, 4 hours. I don't remember, 2 hours. I don't remember how long it took. It took a long time. So I think by like noon or 1, we're walking out of the second set of X-rays. The original doctor that we had gone to called and was like, "Yes, it's not a bone infection. It's not a stress fracture. It's osteosarcoma."
Mm.
And I'm like, I don't know what that word means. I've never heard that word before in my life. I
Right.
said, is it benign or malignant? And he says it's malignant. And he's like, the radiologist noticed it like 5 minutes into the MRI, whatever
Mm.
it was, right? Super early they found it, could see it clear as day right away.
Mm.
And I don't remember much of the conversation after that. I talked to him for a while. Um, and so that was Monday. Tuesday, uh, he's at Cincinnati Children's for a biopsy. Right,
Mhm.
that's the real way to do, because you take a biopsy, it goes to pathology. They can look at the cells under a microscope and properly classify them. So you just have this weird glimmer of hope that maybe the imaging's wrong.
Right.
Well, he gets the biopsy. The doctor who performed the surgery, I'd taken Max to his biopsy. They call you in the post surgery patient consultant room, and he's just like, if you have family close, call them,
Mm.
because it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be
Mm.
very difficult, and it's gonna be a wild ride.
Mm.
And like that was it. After that, we start talking to the medical oncologist, and I think he started chemo like 10 days later,
Mhm.
something
Oh,
like that.
wow.
So it went from limping during playing soccer to, hey, he might have a stress fracture. Let's go non-weight bearing just to see,
Mhm.
to a cancer diagnosis all within a month.